Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name's Nelson Moy. I'm the new town administrator here in Townsend. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are here to present to you the uh, energy aggregation program that we've negotiated on behalf of the residents here in town. And with me is Rachel Ferdinand from Good Energy. Um, and she'll be making a presentation with some PowerPoint slides. And we hope by the end of the presentation, you have learned as much as you need to make an informed decision about the program, whether you want to stay on it or opt out. And at the end, we'll also have plenty of time allotted for any questions you might have. With that, I'm going to hand things over to Rachel.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. I'm looking forward to sharing our presentation here. And yeah, like Nelson said, I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly so we can get to the Q&A and we can make sure everyone's questions are answered. Okay, so first things first, let's get into the purpose of this program. That's a natural first question. The purpose of this program is to offer Townsend residents and businesses expanded choice in their electricity supply. So this program is an electricity supply program. And the goal of this program is twofold, both to increase access to renewable energy as well as have cost savings available for residents and businesses as well. That being said, we just can't guarantee that the program is always going to be cheaper than basic service, just due to the nature of Unitil changing their prices every 6 months, whereas the prices that we'll discuss in this program are set for 3 years. And so the supplier that Townsend has chosen to supply the program is going to be Constellation, and they're going to be offering 3 different options. It's going to be fixed for 36 months. So the program launches next month in December, and it'll run through December 2027. So what changes is going to be the supply portion of your bill. Like I mentioned, this is a supply options program. So that's going to be the main thing that changes on your bill. What stays the same is everything else on your Unitil bill. Mainly speaking, that delivery portion, which is the other half of your electricity bill. Unitil will still be the one who provides you your monthly bill. That won't change. They will still be the ones that you contact if you're having issues with downed lines, outages, any sort of questions about those things. Those will still always go to Unitil. Additionally, any sort of discounts, low-income discounts, budget billing that's applied to your bill, those will all continue to function the exact same way if you joined the program. And as for solar customers, it's the same thing. That won't change. Any solar credits that you get, net metering. I know some people are concerned about SRECs. That's one I've been seeing a lot. Those all continue to apply to your bill the same exact way. So let's get into the options. I mentioned there are 3 options on this program. That first option you can see outlined in that black box is going to be the Townsend Standard. And we highlight it because it is the default option, and that's what most Townsend residents are going to be in. So if you did receive that letter that was sent out, it means that you're eligible for automatic enrollment, and this is the option that you would be automatically enrolled in. We also have the Townsend Basic option, and so that's going to be the cheapest option in the program. So that one, you can see there, 13.1 cent rate, doesn't include any additional renewable energy. And then we also have the Plus option, which is going to be 100% renewable energy, but it does come in at the costliest of the 3 options at a 14-cent rate. And I do think I forgot to mention in that standard option, there's going to be 10% additional renewable energy. But the good thing about all 3 of the options in the program is that they all come in underneath that basic service. You can see at the side there, that 19-cent Unitil basic service rate. All 3 options are going to be below that, at least at the launch of this program. We do know that Unitil pricing through January 2025. So new pricing will be in effect in February. As soon as we see that pricing available, we'll be able to update all the materials. But at least for the first 2 months of the program, all three of these options are going to be well below that Unitil basic service option. But again, like I mentioned, Unitil changes every 6 months, so we just can't guarantee that's always going to be true going forward. So I mentioned the voluntary renewables available both in that standard and the plus product. So I just wanted to detail a little bit more about what that actually is. So in the electricity supply for all Massachusetts residents, there is a required amount set by the state. This year, it's actually 62%. So when I say there's 10% more in that standard product, it means it comes out to 72% in that standard. And then again, that plus product is 100% renewable. Townsend has been able to partner with a local nonprofit, Green Energy Consumers Alliance, in sourcing those additional renewable energy sources. And the good thing about this program is that it keeps all of that additional renewable coming from local sources. So what the additional renewable energy is classified as class 1, and that's basically new in region sources. And it's really great that they are able to partner with this nonprofit because it really keeps it close to home. You can see here on this map, the vast majority of those sources are right here in Massachusetts, as well as Rhode Island, and then a couple in New Hampshire as well. And so most of that additional renewable is going to come from, we have solar, wind, and then some small hydro as well. So a main question that we often see is, how do I participate? How do I get enrolled in the program? And the first thing I'd like to mention is that participation is voluntary. You do not have to participate in this program at any point if you don't want to. You can always opt out. There's never going to be any fee. There's not going to be a penalty if you want to opt out and return to Unitil basic service. But if you are looking to participate in the program, it's going to look a little bit different based on who your current supplier is. And so if you're looking at your Unitil bill, this is where you can look to see who your current supplier is. I think it's typically on the second page of your bill. You'll see an electric supplier service section. And here you can see it says ABC Energy Company in this sample bill. If you're on basic service, you're going to see Unitil listed there. If you see anything other than Unitil, you're not on basic service. So that's really the easiest way to think about it. So we'll start with customers that are on basic service because that is really going to be the vast majority of Townsend residents. If you're on basic service, it means that you likely received that letter and that you're eligible for automatic enrollment come your December meter read. And so you would be automatically enrolled into that standard product that we talked about. And you should have received that letter in the past few weeks. And basically, if you receive that letter and you don't take any action, you're automatically going to start in the program come December. This is a very important date to note if you are eligible for that automatic enrollment, November 20th. So if you're looking to not participate in the program at all, November 20th is going to be the day you want to opt out by. You can, like I mentioned before, you can opt out at any time. It just means that you might see the program reflected on your bill for 1 month before being dropped back to basic service. But if you opt out before November 20th, you would never see the program reflected on your bill at all. And so if you do want to stay in the program, but you want to choose one of those other options that we just discussed, there are a couple different ways to do that. You can go online to the program website listed right there, townsendcommunityelectricity.com, or you can also call the supplier directly at this 800 number. And you would basically just give them the details from your bill, and they would be able to opt you into that basic or plus product. If you're looking to opt out of the program completely, there's a few different ways. First, if you receive that letter in the mail, there's going to be a little mail card along with an envelope. You can sign that and put it in the mail. That'll go back to Constellation and they will opt you out of the program. If you use that envelope, you don't need to worry about postage. It is already postage paid and the address is filled out. You really just need to sign it, put it in the envelope, and send it back. Additionally, you can also opt out in those same ways that I mentioned before for changing your product, either online at the program website or by calling Constellation directly. One important thing to note, if you are looking to stay in the program but choose a different option, you don't need to worry about opting out. You just need to call and change your option. So let's move on to customers that are on a different supplier other than Unitil Basic Service. This is usually a very small amount of customers. And if that applies to you, you usually already know it. If you are using your own supplier, you're not eligible for automatic enrollment, but you can still join the program at any time. You would just have to opt in. And so the same ways that I mentioned in that last slide, you can go online or call the supplier and they can opt you into the program. An important thing to note, if you are with a different supplier, it's important to look at your contract with your current supplier just to make sure that there's no early termination fees if you're looking to leave that contract term early. Again, you can opt in at any time. So if you do look and there are termination fees, you can let that contract expire and then join the program when that's through. So we just wanted to bring a little awareness to some of the outreach that Townsend has been doing in this period. This is actually the last of 3 meetings that we've held for residents to get their questions answered. We also have a recording of the in-person meeting that we did last week. Townsend TV, they also have that recording as well as another graphic with information. There's brochures available, FAQs, posters, and again, there was a postcard sent ahead of that letter to all eligible customers. So this is another look at that sample bill. So if you're looking to see the program, once the program starts up, this is really going to be the only difference that you would see on your bill. In that same electric supplier service section, instead of seeing Unitil or another supplier, it would say exactly this, the Townsend Com Elect Constellation. That's going to be the only difference on your bill. It would be that and then the actual rate that you see reflected based on which option you might be in. So with that, let's just hop right into the Q&A. I tried to make that as brief as I could, but here's all those numbers and the website that I mentioned before. In that second section there, that 978 number, that comes to myself and my colleagues at Good Energy. So if you have, any questions that come up that don't get answered tonight, feel free to take down that number and we can answer the questions as they come up. But I'm not sure if we have anyone monitoring the Q&A as we speak, but I think we can get right into it. So there's a raise your hand function. So if you want to use that to ask questions, we can just go through the list. Let me see. Okay, I'm not seeing any raised hands right now. I'm not sure missing anyone's hands right now, but if you did have a question and I'm missing your hand, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, it looks like Lisa.
Yeah, we have a solar thing that we're connected with. It's called NexAmp.
Yep.
How does that correlate or not correlate with what we're doing here?
Yeah, so that would continue to work the exact same. I think if I'm remembering correctly, NexAmp is a community solar project where they remit the bill to you afterwards. That would work exactly the same. The real only difference is that instead of seeing Unitil as the supplier on the bill, you would see the Townsend program reflected, and you would see that Townsend rate for what's not covered by the solar.
Okay, so we don't have to.
Okay, so we don't have to change anything with the next amp.
Nope, exactly. You
We
could keep
opt.
it exactly the same.
Okay. And one more question was, if we did, if we wanted to change with the three different, the basic or the middle or the higher, if we wanted to do that later, can you, or do you have to decide that now?
That's a great question. You can change your program choice at any time, so you don't have to decide that now. If you want to stick with the standard and later down the road decide the basic or the plus is better for you, you can change that at any point.
Okay.
So we don't have to opt out or opt in. Right?
Exactly.
Okay, I have one more question if nobody else does.
Yeah.
How does it work in terms of this is a price for a certain amount of time? How will that price change after that time frame's up?
Yeah, so this price is set for 3 years, so through December 2027. When that expiration is coming up, Townsend will have the ability to go out and bid for suppliers the same way they did to launch the program. So they'll put out a bid, we'll work with the town to make sure they pick a supplier. And then at that point, once the prices are set, about a month before prices would change, letters would be sent out to all participants the same way they were sent out this time, letting people know of the price changes and, how to opt out if they want to opt out, how to change if they want to change. All that same information that was on the letter this time would be on that letter, just reflecting the new prices. But if for participants who want to stay in the program, they would just continue to stay in the program. They would get the new pricing automatically. You don't have to take any action once prices are renewed.
Thank you.
I'm not seeing any hands still, but I want to say that no question is too simple. If you think I covered something already, but you're not completely sure, ask the question. I just want to make sure that everyone has all the information that they need.
Yeah, I have one question. What would
Yeah.
be is the real only reason for choosing the plus plan just because you want to be like more green, like using 100% renewable energy? Is that all that means?
Yep, that's really it. So it really comes down to what your goals with the program are. If you're someone who's looking to get more savings out of the program, you might stick with the standard or go to the basic. If you're someone who's looking to increase the renewable energy in your electricity, you might opt out. And again, if you can't think of a question tonight, but something hits you, after we get off this evening, you can contact us. You can call us at this number. You might actually even get me answering your question. We also have a contact form available on the website. We really just want to make sure we get all the information that everyone needs out there. Trying to think of other things that people might have questions about that I see sometimes. Went through the renewal. You can change your product at any time. You can opt out at any time. If you opt out of the program, you can also opt back in at any time. So that's an important one too. A lot of times people ask, so can I opt out and opt in as many times as I wish? Theoretically, yes, you could. The way that it works with the utilities, you can only switch your supplier once a month at your meter read, but if you wanted to change every month, you could theoretically bounce back and forth. Yeah, I think I covered budget billing. If you're somebody who takes advantage of budget billing, that works perfectly with the program too. You wouldn't have to change that. Um, yeah, we covered solar as well. Yeah, I mean, if no one else has any questions, I would be happy to give everyone some more of their evening back. But yeah, I really do want to stress if anything comes up or if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to answer all of your questions and make sure everybody can, exercise their choice to the best of their ability.
Thank you for the presentation, Rachel. So yeah, folks, if there's any questions that you might have that you didn't think of at this moment, feel free to reach out to my office. Good Energy. The contact information is on there right now. The special website for this program, you can also send us a question or concern through there as well. So, feel free to reach out. And again, November 20th is the deadline to opt out of this program. But as Rachel said, you can opt in and out, as many times as you want, but it's limited to, just once a month. So if there isn't anything else, thank you for joining us this evening for this presentation, and, have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Rachel.